My name is Diane Harrington, and I use she, her pronouns. I serve this congregation today in the role of a worship associate, but I'm also on the religious services team, part of the choir and archives and the finance team. We will have more on the worship associate shortly, but welcome to our special place. At the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Quad Cities, we welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We welcome especially those joining us for the first time today. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation. And now we will have Miriam for a board moment.
Good morning. My name is Miriam Andrews-Ullman. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees and the UU Singers. The board would like to take an opportunity about once a month to highlight something that we have been working on or a decision that has been made. So today, one of the items from the board meeting yesterday that we'd like to bring to your attention is the reauthorization to hire additional childcare staff for the nursery. Last summer, our childcare supervisor posted the position, but no applicants followed through with the interviews. Then, due to a successful pledge drive, thank you, the board was able to present a budget last May that maintained the level of funding for childcare, which you, our congregants, then voted to approve. Last June, our DRE and childcare supervisor resigned, leaving us with only 2 paid staff for the nursery. The board authorized to fill those vacancies, and the RE team and other volunteers have worked very hard to continue to provide childcare because we highly value family participation in all our activities. Yesterday, the board voted again to authorize our new childcare supervisor, Sarah Martin, to hire more staff. As we continue to grow and add programming, thanks to all our fabulous volunteers, we're hopeful that the next pledge drive will allow us to increase the budget for this and for other ministries that we cherish. Thank you all, as always, for your generosity.
So we do have a few announcement items for today. First off, our music director, Gates Thomas, started a new job last week as director of the Deanery School of Music in the Hilltop neighborhood of Central Davenport. He will be responsible for programming, curriculum development, publicity, and community relations. Calling all cookie bakers, your goodies are wanted for the vendor fair this Saturday. There will be coffee and cookies offered for sale, so please bring your cookies in your own containers labeled with your name and the name of your cookie. Please deliver between 8 and 9:30 on Saturday, and you can contact Alice Traylor if you have any questions. And on that same note, please come by on Saturday and show your support for the vendor fair. I do have posters if you would like to hang some up. Our worship staff, Reverend Sabrina, Music Director Gates Thomas, and RE Director Tiffany Kaldenbach, are now engaged in a broad effort to streamline the planning and the flow of our services. As part of that overall effort, we are changing the spotlight to announcements and will now coordinate them in advance. If you have an announcement for a Sunday service, please send it to office@uucqc.org by 12 noon on Thursday before that service. I mentioned a while ago that I am serving today as the worship associate. The worship staff is seeking ways to broaden participation in our services and to ease the burden upon lay leaders writing a sermon for a given Sunday. If you are interested in participating in a service in any capacity as a worship leader, associate, chalice lighter, reader, a hymn leader, or something else, please email Reverend Sabrina at minister@uucqc.org. We will hold a training on Saturday, December 7th at a time to be determined, and there will be a sign-up sheet in the office, or you can send an email to Reverend Sabrina with the subject line, Worship Associate Training. The chalice chimes are back, and we need you. Yeah, let's clap for that. Yeah. We are looking for anyone interested in playing chimes. Gail Springer is willing to lead the group and has been working to get the chimes back into ringing shape. We need at least 6 people to get rolling. You don't need experience. We accept beginners lovingly. All you need to know is your left from your right and how to count to 4.
Maybe 6.
I do. I know how to count to 4. Hannah, don't know. Please, we can teach you the rest, so please see Gail with questions or email music@uucqc.org. Gail would like to meet with everyone interested on or before November 20th to plan our debut. We also have an announcement from John DeGrieve that we will be hosting this year's 81st annual Interfaith Thanksgiving service on Sunday, November 24th at 6:45 p.m. Members of UUCQC, Edwards Congregational, Bayet Shalom Jewish Community, the Muslim community of the Quad Cities, and the Metropolitan Community Church will join in celebration. Please join us for an evening of music, reflections, appetizers, desserts, and fellowship. If you have any questions, please contact John DeGrieve. John, if you could wave or stand so that we know who you are. Contact John if you have any questions. And finally, let me draw your attention to the additional announcements that are printed on the back of your order of service, including the wreath fundraiser, which are available for sale today. You can see Elaine Cressy. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Sabrina, and I use they, them pronouns. And before we begin, since tomorrow is Veterans Day, I wanted to stop for a moment to honor the brave people, both in this sanctuary and outside, who answered yes when we asked them to protect us. We are thankful you answered our call. And now, the call to worship. Welcome to this sacred space, beloveds. Let us bring our tired, perhaps broken hearts, and let us be together. Let us start this morning, right now, by exercising hope. This thing that, like a muscle, withers if you don't keep at it. And I'm not talking about cheap hope, nor wishful thinking. I'm talking about the hope that gets us through the dark night, the hope that comes before faith can bloom, the hope that brings us back to love. Come, let us worship together. As Diane lights our chalice, which please note that there's a light underneath it and it makes it so pretty, let's all recite the unison words that are on the screen. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gathered to seek, to sustain, and to inspire. And please rise in body or spirit for our opening song, number 1000 in the Teal hymnal, Morning Has Come, and the lyrics will also be projected on the screen. You may be seated. In the spirit of love and fellowship, we now greet the holy in our midst by briefly greeting those around us, especially those we do not know.
morning, everybody. So today, we are going to be doing an activity from our Rainbow Connections class, which is our 4 to 7-year-olds. Next week, we'll be reading a book called Your Name is a Song. And we are going to throw this ball around the sanctuary. We'll give the children a turn first. And everyone who wants to will get a chance to sing your name. I will start. Tiffany.
We come together as a community to share the joys, the concerns, the sorrows, and the milestones of our lives. At this time of sharing, we take a moment to read the entries from the Book of Joys and Concerns, located on the table outside the entrance of the sanctuary when I'm not holding it. So we start with sorrows. This is from Cindy Loudon. Please keep my friend Cindy Dunn in your heart after losing her 34-year-old son to a drunk driver. And from Alice Traylor, keep Diane and John Kinzer in your thoughts and prayers. The memorial for their son Stephen was yesterday in Loveland, Colorado. Are there any concerns shared online?
None right now.
All right.
There is a joy.
Okay, well, we'll do that. Yeah, thank you. Another joys from Taryn Van Ettinger. A joy to have King's successor, Tasha, with us now. She joined our family on Wednesday and is already attached to Joe at the hip. From Tom Lourdes, today I am celebrating the legacy of James Luther Adams, and so am I. Yeah, a famous UU theologian. And from Ken Crokin, thank you for your support on November 5th. And the joy from online?
Kathy Merte says, I am grateful for the listening circle last night and the wonderful facilitation that helped us find our way through difficult times.
Can this be heard or should I repeat it?
You can try it.
Yeah, from Kathy Merte. She was grateful about the listening circle from last night and the moderation and facilitation that happened. You're welcome. Thank you. For all those joys and sorrows remaining in our hearts and minds, I invite you into a spirit of prayer and meditation. May the still small voice inside each of us give wings to our dreams. May it help us imagine acts of love that connect us and then help us carry them out. May it bless with the blessing of not getting what we want, but instead getting what we need. May it show us the infinite possibilities for good we have inside ourselves and give us the ability to lean on each other and keep us from isolation. And because we hear this small voice inside us, may we allow ourselves the space to ask each other for help and the willingness to be held in community. Amen. And now, let us share a time of silent meditation. May we open our hearts and mind to a place of quiet and engage in silent prayer for the healing of pain and the balm of love. When the musical meditation begins after the moment of silence, you're invited to come forward in silence and light a candle.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accord with our values, mission, and vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by the democratic process. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. We are sharing this month's undesignated plate offering with the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. For more information on how the UUA Disaster Relief Fund operates, please see the back of your order of service. We invite you now to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. Please be as generous as you are able.
For all the gifts of time and treasure that you give to this congregation, with sincere gratitude, we thank you.
Our reading today is titled, Let Us Build by Bob Smith. November is the season of repair. Before the winter rains assert their claim, when autumn is apparent everywhere, the numb sun shrunken to a faded flame, the brownest brittle leaves desert the trees that are never entirely denuded. Squirrels conduct their yearly inventories. Songbirds depart, their business here concluded. This is the moment to address the damage we've carelessly inflicted throughout the year, to speak of secret wounds with quiet courage, the path before us difficult but clear. Let us rebuild the ruins of the heart, drawing upon forbearance, faith, and art.
I don't have to tell you, it's been a difficult week, month, year, maybe 2 years. Some people say 8. All these feelings are valid, all the feelings you feel. And today, I'm going to do something else. Because all the word of comfort or lament that I can say right now have already been said. You have already said them. And today I want to talk about healing. And the kind of healing we need is not done alone by ourselves in our rooms. The healing we need requires loving one another just as we are, which is never easy, and so we need one another. And as Alice remarked last Sunday, repairing or healing is a community project. We need to be able to ask and offer help to be each other's safe haven. Community is what heals us. We need to bear witness to each other, not because we are all suffering in the same way, but because we are all suffering. And you've already started this last Wednesday. You're doing it. You're creating community by being together in brave ways and in kind ways. So, today's sermon is technically not really a sermon. And again, I really liked Alice's sermon last week, so as a jumping off point, it made me think, As a jumping off point, I'm using her comment about the treasure hunt. How she said the hunt makes the treasure more precious than if we were simply given it as a gift. Because there is work involved in finding it, but it's fun. So today we're going to choose in a way that is meaningful. We will choose our own adventure to find the treasure of a meaningful message, and maybe that way we can continue healing. And because this is a collaboration, I want to say that I got another inspiration for today's sermon. A few weeks back, Tiffany, our DRE, shared with me this curriculum for multi-generational activities called Deeper Joy that I hadn't seen before. It is based on the geography of a fictional land that should be on a slide, maybe now or soon. There you go. That is a place where we can do community building. Community building will be done through participatory activities corresponding to these geographic locations, like Healing Springs, Stretching River, Tepid Bay, etc. There's a lot of activities because it's a curriculum, right? And some of these exercises we're going to be doing today, you might have encountered them before because they're community building activities. There's just a finite number of them. So what's going to happen is that I have 3 mini reflections that go with 3 activities from the land of deeper joy. And you get to choose the order in which I present these things. It's a little bit risky for me, but we'll see. And this is the part about choosing your own adventure, because you're deciding the order in which this happens, and you're deciding the order in which I give these reflections. And so you can find some type of treasure today that is in an order I haven't decided for you. So there's a little choice involved. So let's begin. I'm not going to tell you what the activities are. I'm going to tell you the colors that I've assigned to them. Which were randomly chosen, so they don't mean anything. So don't read anything in it, okay. The 3 activities are purple, green, and orange, and by a raising of hand, if I say purple, raise your hand if you want to do purple first. Okay. What about green? What about orange? Okay, I'm going to say that purple has the most votes, and it's not a surprise that nobody wants to do orange, but I want to remind you that orange is also the color of sunsets. And it's the color of oranges, which are delicious. So you want to do purple first. You have chosen purple. Great. The interconnected web. Our faith tradition asks us to hold both our uniqueness and our common interdependent existence together, and if we accept this invitation, we cannot help but see the world through a lens of interconnection and compassion. And once we see it somewhere, we start seeing it everywhere. In his letter from a Birmingham jail, the Reverend Dr. King wrote that we are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. A single garment of destiny. I love this phrase. If you ask my friends, my family, I'm always saying it. It offers a visual representation and a reminder of why we should work for justice together, because we are interconnected. And this is, what I mean when I say that when we see interdependence somewhere, we see it everywhere. The saying goes, we can only be free from oppression when everyone is free. Studies have shown, however, that 75 of those of us who stand in solidarity with people in oppressed and marginalized identities, like the unhoused, refugees, LGBTQ community, 75% report increased empathy for our fellow humans, for our neighbors. But here's the thing. The reported increase in empathy increases only when we show up. Not just when we hear about it, when we actively participate, when we can meet those people and by volunteering, sharing a meal, marching, etc. And this empathy then spreads to our families, friends, co-workers, because we are in a lot of places, and because we end up sharing our increased empathy with our community. So this increased empathy extends the compassion like a network. So I'm going to nerd out here. A couple of years ago, the Nobel Prize for Physics went to scientists who made contribution in understanding quantum entanglement. Don't panic. There will not be a quiz afterward. This, I'm going to say it as simply as I can. This is a phenomenon that happens when subatomic particles are entangled and some characteristics of one particle get shared with another one. And here's the fun thing. These characteristics are shared no matter how far the particles are from each other, no matter what lies between them. So they can be light years away, or there can be a mountain between them. They still share a commonality. They're entangled. So this phenomenon to me speaks to the profoundly interrelated structure of reality at a very small level. And so that tells me that this interrelated structure is not just in Dr. King's beautiful metaphor or in my theology or in our UU history. This is corroborated even by science, which is good to be corroborated by science, right? Because when we know how to look, we start seeing interdependence everywhere. And that's because it is everywhere. So, today's purple activity is to see interdependence in action. I made a gigantic ball of yarn. And typically this is an exercise that is done in a circle, but you can't get in a circle because there's way too many of you. What we're gonna try to do is everybody will get a piece, will hold on to a piece of this yarn. In a moment. And so I'll start by throwing it, I'll come down by throwing it to Diane, and then she's going to throw it to someone else until that ball of yarn is held by everybody. I hope this works. And for those following online, this is really important. Don't feel left out. But we have to be more creative. So there's a couple of things you could do. If you know how to make a cat's cradle, you can do that and feel the interconnectedness like that. If you want, if you have a piece of string, you can tangle yourself to someone or something around you.
Tie it to your phone.
Yeah, tie it to your phone, maybe. Or you can really, in the true spirit of quantum entanglement, you can reach out your hand to the screen that you're watching the thing for and feel the ball of yarn at a great distance. So let's start. What I want to do without creating too much chaos is for you to say a word to the person you're throwing it to, just, if you feel like it. But what?
What's the fire?
Like we should do it. Yeah. You should say something, for instance, I'll throw it to Diane. I like Diane because she agreed to be my worship associate when no one else wanted to. And so let's go down to the floor.
All right. Lori, thank you for being the board president.
Have peace in your heart.
You gotta hang on to the string. Yeah.
I love the yellow tree. And sitting in this tree.
You don't have to say anything. It's not stopping you from throwing the ball around. Don't. If you can hold the yarn, you can hold it together.
What are the instructions of people talking? There's
Just,
something I
just,
have no idea.
it would be nice to throw it to each other, saying something nice to each other, but, just as long as we throw it sort of in a rapid way. Yeah. So, yeah, right, like, we got happy hours, right? Aw, came back to you. So you can hold on to the strings even if it wasn't thrown at you, just as we go through. Don't take it personally if nobody throws at you. I hadn't thought of this. In a circle is much easier.
Thank you for starting the meeting. Karen, thank you for sharing the music. If I can get the ball to you.
I suck at catching. Let's see, who doesn't have it yet?
A lot of people. Almost all the whole
community to do this. This is not something I can do by myself. We became the one garment of destiny. So I'm looking at the time, and I remember that the second highest voted item was green. And this, thankfully, is something that doesn't require implements. And thank you, Diane, for collecting the yarn. I guess I overestimated how much I needed. So you've chosen green as the second thing. This piece is called Stretching for Liberation. So Stretching for Liberation is in the Stretching River, just in case you were wondering about the map. How does liberation heal? I think that liberation heals by stretching. And what is it stretching? It's stretching us. Our imagination, our moral imaginations. Liberation heals the oppressed and the oppressor by changing the structures that oppress. You might think that oppressors don't need liberation because they're bad, but they do too. Because the only thing oppressors do is oppress, and so they lack the imagination to imagine a better world. And that sucks. And by the way, when I talk about the oppressor, and I know you know this, I don't mean someone distant in space that did something over there, some colonizer far from where we are, or someone distant in time, like a landowner in the South, pre-Civil War. I mean, anybody who, without protest, succumbs to the status quo, when we try to stay, or someone who tries to stay neutral, when staying neutral is equivalent to siding with injustice, when we lack the imagination to imagine a better world and we don't keep in touch with our community, etc. Under any of these conditions, it's a slippery slope. It's easy to give in and look away and not want to hear it. But the good news is our faith asks us to not do that. Our faith binds us together, asks us to find a reason to fight, to stretch. You knew that, right? Anyway, liberation from oppression is not something we can pursue individually because we need to change the structures of oppression and we need to be together and we are the web. But that requires stretching. You know what else stretches? Scar tissue. A few years back, I had foot surgery. And the doctor prescribed physical therapy, and I thought it was because I was limping and I was walking with a cane. And it kind of was, but mostly what the physical therapist did was work on my scar. And I learned that when we have a scar and we want it to heal, we want to transform it. We push on the tissue, we massage it and stretch it, and at first it is uncomfortable, and sometimes it hurts. But eventually we get used to it and we keep doing it willingly and the scar tissue goes away. And so liberation is like stretching a scar. We go from stretching because we're supposed to stretching because we have to stretching because we want to. So let's do this stretch for liberation. It's something you can do staying seated. If you prefer, you can get up. And we're going to do this activity twice. And it's the same online or in the sanctuary. So what does social justice do in general? I'm going to go to that mic so you can see the movements that I'm doing. You reach down inspiration. Stomp. Thank you. Thank you so much. You did it. Now you can go back to sleep. I have a slightly longer thing that I would like to share with you, and that's the orange activity. I'm thinking that we're going to be a little bit over time, but I don't care because I did this and I want you to and I want to share it with you. So, hang on a second. Real quick, I have this book of poems and blessings by John O'Donohue called To Bless the Space Between Us. And I bought this book based on the title because I really love the phrase to bless the space between us because it's wonderful. It's beautiful, but it's also puzzling. What are we blessing? What's the space between us? Why does he need? This is a mystical Irish man that is incredibly keen and interesting. But what I don't understand what the meaning of the blessing the space between us is. And so I went to his definition of a blessing, and he says when the human heart pleads with the divine heart, and that doesn't get me anywhere. I'm sorry, John O'Donohue, wherever you are. But then I read the book, right? Like, you don't just buy a book to buy it. I use it a lot, actually, in ceremonies and conventional and unconventional blessings. And it became clear that connection is the key. When I read his poem / blessing in praise of air, he's blessing the air, right? And he says, let us bless the air, benefactor of breath, keeper of the fragile bridge we breathe across. The space between us is worthy to be blessed because it's the threshold of our life. It's the thresholds, plural, of our lives. He's blessing the elements. He's blessing our everyday seasons and other thresholds of our lives. The invisible and fragile bridge of air is the space between us that connects us to each other. A blessing, it is an invitation, a wish to connect. And so, in the spirit, I would like to do this exercise, but before I want to say, may we bless each other in ways that invite us to rediscover relationship and connection. So, Diane will be passing around some note cards and pencils. And so if you're in the sanctuary, you're supposed to write something that you need to hear. Like, I'm so proud of you, you did your best, or you have what it takes to make it through this hard time. Please don't write things about physical appearance or personal things, just encouragement in general. And if you're watching online, it took me a long time, so I hope you do it. It took me a long time to find something that generates blessings that is not AI. And I found it. It's the Global Wheel of Blessing at www.globalharmonyhouse.org. And if you go to the Discovery menu and click the Blessing Wheel, you can generate a blessing for yourself. I hope you do it because we all need a blessing. So don't think too much about what you're going to write. Just write something and fold the card. And I'm going to wait until everybody has a piece of paper And everybody finds the Wheel of Blessings at globalharmonyhouse.org, all one word.
I've also put that in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you. That's why we have tech people. Love it. They put it in the chat. And it's not AI. That totally makes me happy. That way we don't consume water and other precious resources. All right. Everybody's got a piece of paper? Yeah? So write something, fold it. Is everybody ready? Yes? Let's say everybody's ready. Now pass this piece of paper to the person next to you. One time. Next to you, wherever, whichever direction you want to go. To someone that has a, yeah. Now pass it again to somebody else. Keep passing it. This is a random blessing generator. All right.
I'm almost ready.
Have we passed it? Awesome. Fantastic. You need to have passed it at least twice to do this thing. All right. Are we done?
I was behind a little, sorry.
Are we done? Let's say we're done. All right. So now open it and read it. If you passed it twice or more time. All right, open it and read it. Did you read it? So ask yourself, is this the blessing you needed to hear today? All right. Well, I hadn't chosen this combination of activities originally. You chose it. But I think it's great because we went from interdependence to stretching for liberation to blessing each other. And I think community came through in this. It's something I've never done, now I can tell you, in case you hadn't seen it before. But I want to know, did you find your treasure? Did you find the treasure in these activities? Was it fun doing it anyway? Will you take something home with you other than the blessing today? Well, whatever you're feeling, whatever you've gotten out of this, remember that you are loved. Amen. And now please rise in body or spirit for our closing song, number 100 in the gray hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River. We're going to be singing verses 1 and 2 and 6. Yeah? Let's do it. Please remain lifted up as we extinguish the chalice and join in the unison reading. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. This we till we are together again. So may we be blessed by the love that can heal and repair, and let us go forth in courage and be the light that blesses others. Go in peace, and you may be seated for the postlude.